Hello, and thank you all for joining us today. It's really nice to have you here. Today I'll be talking you through the Lynette Bergin Tourism Excellence Award. My name is Kate Rickwood, and I'm the Coordinator of Member Communications for Victoria Tourism Industry Council, and I've been coordinating this award now for 7 years. Really the joy to coordinate it, and I love seeing the award winners grow and develop over their year of the award, and also where they go in their careers post the award, and the things that they go on to do. Just to let you know, we will be recording today's session, so if you have to jump off, a recording will be sent around. I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land which I join you from today, the Bunurong people, as the custodians of this land, and I pay my respects to their elders, past and present. And I'd also like to extend this acknowledgement to the traditional owners of the lands on which you'll join me from today across the state. I'm joined today by one of my industry colleagues, Lynette Bergin Tourism Excellence Award Judge, Tom Smith. So thanks for joining us today, Tom.
Pleasure, Kate.
So Tom's going to provide a few insights as we go along. So in today's session, we'll be sharing more information about the award, and that'll include learning a bit more about Lynette Bergin and an overview of the award. We'll hear from some of our past winners, and we'll cover how you apply. So that'll include the selection process and some other important information. We'll also have time for questions that you might have at the end. So feel free to pop your questions in the Q&A box as we go along. So the award first began in 2005, and that was following the passing of our much loved tourism industry colleague Lynette in 2004. The award honours Lynette Bergin, and it recognises the skills and contribution she made to the industry, and also celebrates the guiding hand she offered to so many new recruits that were entering the industry. So I'm going to pass over to Tom, who was a friend of Lynette's, to provide some reflections about Lynette.
Thanks, Kate. Well, Lynn Bergin was a special person, but she wasn't the CEO of a major company. She wasn't the leader of a state tourism organisation. She wasn't a high-flying marketer. She was none of those things. But all of those people, the CEOs, the marketers, the leaders in the industry, all had one thing in common when it came to Lynn Bergin. Each and every one of them wanted to employ someone like Lynn Bergin. She was a special person. She was a sales representative for Greyline. She loved to dress up in a blue uniform and her fancy shoes. She was loyal, absolutely, totally loyal, dedicated to Greyline, and she was tenacious as a sales rep. But she was also a big picture player in the sense that when we travelled internationally to sell our products, Lynn was always at the forefront to make sure we took a team approach to it. She understood that to get people to Greyline on a seat and a Greyline coach, she first of all had to sell Australia, she then had to sell Victoria, then Melbourne, and then a Greyline coach, and was always prepared to work with other people in a package sense. She was a role model, there's no question about that when it comes to sales. She was caring, as I said, passionate and loyal, there's no doubt about that. But she also found time to mentor young people in the industry. And so when Lynn was taken from us so early, it was probably fitting that the industry came together and said we need to recognise the contribution that Lynn's made over a period of time. Combining with VTIC and Lynn's family, this award was created. So this is about finding a young person who has those qualities that we found in Lynn all those years ago. And we want to make sure that we've got an opportunity to let that young person grow in the industry and make a contribution.
Thanks, Tom. So we'll go into a bit of an overview of the award now. So it aims to promote the skills and excellence among young people and new entrants that are working in the private sector, and I emphasise private sector, of the Victorian tourism and events industry. It aims to contribute to the continued development and growth of inbound tourism in Victoria. And also, as Tom mentioned, we want to perpetuate the skills and the contribution of Lynette Bergin. So applicants can undertake any case study that contributes to their personal and professional development. It has to be relevant to the broader industry, and it also needs to address a current industry need. It can include research elements, including participation, observation, interviews, and surveys. And your case studies that you look at, they can be domestic or international or both. It's also important to note that education and training are not eligible for the award. So that's things like short courses, training programs, and conferences. And the reason for that is that the award really aims to provide a practical experience for the participant. So we're going to look at a few past award winner profiles now via video. Just to give you a bit of an idea of the type of projects that have been awarded in the past, and you'll see here from the photos on the screen the types of things and opportunities that past winners have been afforded. And I'll just point out the bottom left one, which was Ashley Kay. I think she was about 2017 winner, and she's actually pictured there with the founder and CEO of Airbnb, Brian Chesky. And she didn't actually arrange this meeting. She just happened upon him in an experience that she was taking part of. So she was researching the sharing economy. So that was a really valuable experience for her. But yeah, you can see also other travels and presentations at conferences and things in those photos there. So the first one we're going to look at is 2015 winner Raphael Lawrence. So at the time of winning, Raphael worked for the Colonial Tramcar restaurant, which unfortunately is no longer. And Raphael's project centered around unique dining experiences. So I'll let you hear from her. And Tom, if you can just give me a thumbs up if the sound and everything is okay.
Hi, I'm Raphael. I won in 2015 and my project was unique dining experiences. So I went to Europe and dined at various places to work out and see what people do well and how they do it well. I started working in hospitality and then studied tourism. So I have a strong hospitality background and a love for tourism. So I love combining them together. I love seeing what people do and how they do it well and experiencing new things. And then I suppose this was a way of finding what they do it well, whether it's just a small sign to educate the customer so then the staff are getting less questions and can focus on other things. So I think for me, I found the big thing was it's the small things. Start, have that passion and then just start asking questions, ask people and leaders or even peers, and sometimes it's their comments or questions back to you that build upon your curiosity, I suppose. So it's drawing it out and using everyone else to build your idea. Keep the passion and just go and try new things.
Very good. And so the next award winner is 2022 winner Hannah Code. So at the time of winning, Hannah was working for Zoos Victoria, and you'll be able to tell through her video that she's very passionate about ethical wildlife tourism. And she mentions in the video that she's working for Sydney Opera House. This video was taken last year, and since then she's actually moved back to Victoria and she's back working at Zoos Victoria. So we're very happy to have her back in the Victorian industry. So I'll let you hear from Hannah.
Hi everyone, for those who don't know me, my name is Hannah Code and I was the 2022 Lynette Bergin Award winner. I focused my project on ethical tourism, particularly within zoos, and I travelled to 3 zoos within the United States, and I also explored eco-adventures in the Northern Territory. Currently, I'm in a tourism role at the Sydney Opera House, and I continue to find my project insights incredibly valuable. So, how did winning the award impact me at the time? Winning the scholarship was an amazing opportunity for me. It really empowered me to further both my education and career goals within the tourism industry. Additionally, it offered me access to a network of industry professionals, which opened doors to valuable connections. It also provided me with a platform to develop my presentation skills, which was an area I had very limited experience prior to receiving this award. So as part of my project, we developed a giraffe encounter at Werribee Open Range Zoo, which educates guests on the importance of choice and control for zoo animals. I've recently been collaborating with Zoos Victoria to create new products centred around ethical tourism, which is very exciting. And at the Opera House, I often reflect on my project, exploring ways to implement ethical tourism for our visitors. So overall, I was very thrilled to have been nominated as the Lynette Bergin Award winner and found the project incredibly beneficial, both professionally and personally. Thanks very much.
There we go. So that just gives you a few ideas of the projects that have been completed as part of the award. And we've also got a full list of past winners on our website, and where available, we've got the links to their reports, so you can kind of deep dive into what different winners have done in the past as well. Okay, so moving on to the selection process, we'll start with the selection criteria. So things that we're looking for from a candidate is firstly that you need to comply with all the eligibility criteria, which I'll go into in a minute. The activities that you undertake need to be relevant to the Victorian tourism industry, and they have to address a current industry need. Your proposed case study needs to contribute to your personal and professional development, and the outcomes of your project need to be communicated to industry, and I'll go into that and how we facilitate that in a minute. We would also like to see that you have a relevant industry qualification, or that you're on track to achieving one. That you have a personal plan for your professional development or any education and training that you'd like to undertake. And that you have sound knowledge of all the sectors in the industry, including your current industry sector, and that you have an interest in and the ability to communicate with the industry and community. So the selection process, we start with an expression of interest, and then from that we shortlist candidates, and we invite a couple to complete a full application. Those shortlisted candidates who have completed a full application will be invited to an interview with the judging panel, and then the successful application will be selected from there. So looking at that eligibility criteria, you have to have joined the industry in the last 10 years. You need to be a VTIC financial member or employee of a member, and that's at the starter, extra, elite or platinum level. If you're not sure of your membership level, just get in touch with me afterwards and I'm happy to let you know. You need to be an Australian resident, and you need to be working in the private sector of the Victorian tourism and events industry. So the award offers up to $10,000 for the successful applicant and another $2,000 for your employer. Your employer may wish to contribute that $2,000 to your project. So you end up, I guess, essentially with $12,000, or they may opt to keep the funds to help cover the costs of you being away from the business throughout the process. And just another note that $2,000 is paid at the completion of your project, with the $10,000 being paid to you upfront. So the key dates, we have our EOIs open until Tuesday the 25th of November, so still a little while there. We will then let the successful EOIs know that we'll invite them to submit a full application, which is due on Tuesday the 29th of January. We'll be doing the judging and interviews between the 3rd and the 12th of February next year, and then we'll have the winner announcement, which will actually be at the VTIC Vision Summit on Wednesday the 25th of February, and that'll be at the Melbourne Convention Exhibition Centre. Our 2025 winner, Daniel Wykes, will be presenting his final project at the summit. And then at the conclusion of his presentation, we'll then award the 2026 winner and invite them to say a few words in conversation with the MC for that event. Your project period, and I can't believe we're talking about 2027 already, but it will be between March 2026 and February 2027. And then your presentation report will be due in February 2027. And most likely that presentation will again be at the VTIC Vision Summit. So you'll be able to see kind of in 2026, the award winner will be able to see Daniel's presentation and how that works. So you've got a year to prepare essentially. So just going into a bit more detail about that application. So as I mentioned, we start with an expression of interest. We have a form on our website for that, and you'll need to fill out some information about yourself and also about your employer. We ask for a short 300-word project description. So we're looking for information on your proposed project and just some initial thoughts on the types of activities you'd like to undertake over the year. We also ask for 300 words on the project benefits. So this would be benefits to yourself personally and professionally, and also how the project's relevant to the Victorian tourism and events industry. The judging panel will then review these expressions of interest and invite shortlisted applicants to submit a full application. And in the application, we ask for, we have an application form. Again, just a few extra bits of information about yourself or your employer. We ask for 3 references, so 1 project, 1 character, and 1 professional. We ask for a bit more on your project description, so we just need a few more details, and we need you to include a timeline and how you're aiming to complete the project over the year. We also ask for a detailed project budget and for you to include all the costings for your proposed activities. And we do recognise that obviously when you're preparing your application, for example, flight costs will be different to when if you actually win the award and then book later. So we realise it's not 100%, but estimates are fine for that. And we ask for a bit more on your project benefits. So just a bit more detail. We're looking for a bit of supporting research and also how you are looking to communicate your project to the industry more broadly. And the last thing we need in this application is a statement of employer support. So we need to know that your employer is supportive of you applying and that they're able to help facilitate and give you time away from the business over the project period. So we'll then move on to an interview. So we will interview all the candidates that put in an application. And you'll be notified of the interview in late January to early February. The panel looks at candidates based on their suitability. So they're looking for your achievements, your references, your contribution to the industry. They're looking about how you address the selection criteria and, of course, your project merit. So I'll just ask Tom for a few insights in what you look for in a successful application.
Look, it's an interesting panel. This is an award about young people, and the panel are all old people, but don't worry about that. We're nice old people, and we are really excited about some of the projects that we see coming across our desk. As a panel, we'll be looking at where you sit at the moment in a professional sense and how the project you've identified relates to your personal growth and your professional growth. It's no good saying you're working at the zoos and you're going to do something quite extreme in a different area. So that link has to be there. But the other one from my perspective, and I know some of my colleagues on the panel share too, is looking at a project that's going to have impact on the Victorian industry. What's a project that's got the potential to grow and develop and make the Victorian industry better? Now, that doesn't have to be mega change, but it needs to be something that you can come back and say, when I share this information, if snippets of it filter into the industry and it brings change over a period of time, that's a real positive for us, and that's where we love to see projects going. So, yeah, it's really what's relevant in the industry at the time today, in the next year project, and if that fits, then we're pretty supportive of it. But we like the opportunity to sit down and chat and talk to you too, so that's important as well.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. And when you go back and have a look at some of our past award winners and the projects that they've selected, you'll see if that those kind of topics were relevant at the time. So, we had someone looking at the Indian market, someone looking at the Chinese market, we had someone looking at the sharing economy, VR. So you'll see kind of those periods of time where those issues are really big in the industry. Those are the projects that were awarded, and they were quite relevant to the whole industry at that time as well. Okay, so what do you actually have to produce at the end of the project period? So we're looking at, in this case, February 2027, a written report for publication, and it needs to clearly communicate the outcomes of your project and how these apply to the Victorian tourism and events industry. We do need a complete funds acquittal report to VTIC, and we ask that you participate in a conference event held by VTIC, which will most likely be the Vision Summit in 2027. You may also be asked to speak at other events, such as Young Tourism Network. We also have a regional conference with our kind of previous winner who has completed her report. So that was Madeline Sawyer. I think she's spoken at about, I'd say, for between 5 and 10 conferences on her project, because it really hit a chord with the industry. So again, it kind of depends on your project and what you pick as to those speaking opportunities that might arise. We also ask that you produce an article for publication by VTIC, and that'll be on our website. We ask of your employers that they provide you with support, which may include time off to come to your interviews, to undertake travel, and to complete the items that I just spoke about above. So that's why that statement of employer support is really important in that application. And so winner support, VTIC will provide you with tailored support depending on your project and your needs. It is quite a self-directed project, but we can help with introductions, upskilling and mentoring that are relevant to your project that you undertake. Tom, did you have anything else to add before we wrap up?
I really would encourage anyone listening, viewing, to think about this, because rarely do you get an opportunity in our industry to have someone come along with a fellowship, an award, if you like, of this size, and it's significant, and that allows you to pursue an area of personal interest, but also allows you to have impact in the wider industry once you've completed that project. So it's a great opportunity, and I really would encourage you to look back at some of the past winners, look some of the projects they've come up with, and we would like to think one day down into the future, some of those past winners are going to be some of the genuine leaders in our industry at the highest level, whether it be in Victoria or across Australia. So this is a great opportunity. So please have a good look at it. The first part's an easy part, expression of interest, and get that on the table, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Tom. So no questions have come through. So I just thank you all for coming today, and thank you, Tom, for joining us as well and for your insights.